We basically had the same financial system we had in 2008. The most dramatic thing was visiting a foreclosure prevention workshop that Governor Schwarzenegger out in Southern California had organized, and he had asked me to speak and then participate. The idea was to have all the servicers, the people who are working with these distressed mortgages, come and sit down with families and take applications to get reduced mortgage payments, because we had this terrible problem, especially in California. And when I got to the event, I saw hundreds, probably thousands, of people lined up in the heat waiting to get into this event. And there were just people who were scared, who were terrified. They were there in their uniforms and their work clothes. They were taking off time from work. Those millions of families who were in their homes with unaffordable mortgages that they didn't understand and just wanted to keep their house. I think long term, this whole thing was just driven by short-term greed and profit making. And without, just getting paid up front, ripping people off, giving them mortgages that they didn't understand and anybody knew they couldn't repay. And also large financial institutions thinking short term in terms of having a lot of leverage, which is fine in good times. You want to rely a lot on borrowed money. When you're making money, that's fine. When you start losing money, you get into trouble really fast. And they started losing a lot of money as the crisis hit. But they had borrowed, and they had borrowed short term. They had all this debt they had to keep rolling over. And that was a key driver of why so many failed and needed a bailout system. There may be a new crisis, that's so hard to know. We basically had the same financial system we had in 2008, but there is more capital, there's less leverage in the banking sector. There's more stable liquidity longer term. When they do borrow, it's longer term. So those are improvements we've made, which hopefully will make the system more resilient when we get into another economic downturn. And of course, we will eventually get into another economic downturn. We don't know when or how severe. One thing I do know, though, is it's going to be quite severe if the banks once again are too leveraged up. They can't absorb the losses when the downturn comes, when the loan defaults start going up. If they're not prepared, they're going to pull back on credit, and that's going to hurt the real economy and send the economy into a tailspin, which is what we had in 2008.